Okay, so Jordan Peele is bringing out a new movie that was recently revealed by Universal Pictures. Jordan Peele being the writer and director behind such hits as Get Out and Us, as well as the writer and producer for other movies, including Black KK Klansman and the Candyman reboot, as well as the Twilight Zone reboot. A writer director who's gone on record was saying he wants to make films exclusively about black people because he feels that black people are underrepresented within Hollywood, and he wants to address that as a black man himself, which is fair enough, really. So that's Jordan Peele, and that new movie is simply called Nope, and it's rather mysterious because unusually for a newly announced movie, there's no kind of basic plot synopsis or any kind of indication of what the movie is about. All they've released is the title, who's it starring, and who it's written and directed by, and a teaser poster for the movie. Now, the reason this gets my interest, or piqued my interest rather, is because when I looked at the poster, it seemed a little bit familiar. So let's have a little look at the poster now. There it is. That is the teaser poster. Nope. Only in theatres. 7/22/22 or 22/7/22 if you're in the UK like myself. It's always odd the way the Americans have put the month, day, then year, as opposed to sequential day, month, year. But that's the way things are done in America. But okay, fine, whatever. However, what piqued my interest about this poster, like I say, is something that looked a little bit familiar about it. And what looked familiar was this storm cloud here, these flags coming out of the storm cloud here, and this little valley down here surrounded by hills. And the reason I find that familiar is because it reminds me of another movie that goes by the title of Back to the Future. And case in point, I'll show a little clip from Back to the Future now. Back to the Future Part 2, more specifically. So here's the scene in Back to the Future 2. You will notice that the flags here are hanging from the DeLorean, as piloted, I guess would be the correct terminology, by Doc Brown in the DeLorean. Things happen. Let's skip a bit ahead. He's up there. The flags are still attached to the DeLorean. Lightning strikes. Things go a bit wrong. You don't want to get struck by lightning, but he does. Bang. Whoosh. And he disappears. And the flags come flying down. Now, to go back to the poster again, does that look a little bit familiar to you? Let's make some observations here. So we have a storm cloud, just like in that scene from Back to the Future 2. We have some flags coming from that storm cloud, almost like they're attached to something, hidden, concealed behind the storm cloud. And here we have a little valley, a little town, a valley, that is amongst some hills. You could say a hill valley, which is where the Back to the Future movies were set, in Hill Valley. Now, my theory for this is this a reboot of Back to the Future by Jordan Peele? I could be wrong on that. In all likelihood, I am wrong. I'm aware there is such a thing as coincidence, uh, and that could be what this is. But it just seems very odd to me. The fact this movie is very secretive, very oddly secretive about what the plot is, what the basic synopsis is. Any sort of details about the plot have not been revealed. Just this teaser poster. Who it's starring, these folks here, the title, and the fact it's from Jordan Peele. So I do wonder, is this some sort of weird Back to the Future reboot from Jordan Peele? No, the movie is from Universal. The same Universal Pictures, the same studio that produced the Back to the Future movies. Now, a big argument against my theory here is the fact that the producer of the Back to the Future movies, Bob Gale, and the director, Robert Zemeckis, have gone on record as saying that they have an agreement with Universal Pictures that no kind of reboot or remake of Back to the Future will ever happen as long as they are alive, because they don't want that to happen, which is fair play to them. Now, although they've said they have this agreement with Universal Pictures that this will never happen, I looked into it. I'm a little bit sort of suspicious about that, because as far as I can tell, there's no legally binding contract that states Universal Pictures are not allowed to remake or reboot Back to the Future. As far as I can tell, it was stated by Bob Gale as an agreement. Well, an agreement is a gentleman's contract, right? It's not something that is legally binding. And let's not pretend that studios are not want to make money whenever possible, make a profit whenever possible. So as far as I'm aware, there's nothing contractually stopping Universal Pictures from actually going ahead with a remake or reboot of Back to the Future. It's just a gentleman's agreement. As far as I'm aware, it's not Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis who actually hold the rights to Back to the Future as a brand, as an IP. It's Universal Pictures. Now, I could very well, and probably am wrong about this theory, but I felt like I had to point it out and say something about it, just on the off chance that I'm correct, because it's something I thought as soon as I saw this teaser poster. And I accept I probably am wrong. I just want to put it out there just in case. Now, I do wonder also if Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale do hold some kind of legal right to veto any kind of potential reboots of Back to the Future. Whether perhaps with Jordan Peele, they thought, well, we like his idea or take on Back to the Future, that he would do a reboot with a predominantly black or Asian cast, as is the case with these fine actors here. Now, that could be a possibility, you know. It's also worth noting that the Back to the Future game, which came out in 2015 by Telltale Games, featured a plot which revolved around the DeLorean reappearing precisely because of that storm in Back to the Future 2. When the storm hit the DeLorean, it split the DeLorean into two. So one DeLorean went back into the Old West of Back to the Future 3, and a second DeLorean got created and sent into this future, which you then saw in the video game. It's interesting that that was a plot point for the game, which acted as a kind of official continuation of the Back to the Future trilogy. So there is a precedence there for using the storm as a plot point for Back to the Future. The one thing that does put me off my theory here other than the fact I fully acknowledge it is really out there as far as theories go, is this little tagline here: a new terror. A new terror from the mind of Academy Award winner Jordan Peele. New terror kind of suggests a horror, right? And as much as they might want to do something different with a Back to the Future reboot, I'm not sure horror would be the direction they'd take things in. So, in all likelihood, is my theory correct? I would tend to go towards nope. Nope, it is not correct. However, I am covering myself just in case it is, and just saying it's an interesting set of coincidences if it's not. Why so secretive? Why Universal Pictures? Why the very much Back to the Future based imagery? It all kind of adds up to being a Back to the Future reboot. As it stands, probably not nope, but time will tell. Time will tell, folks. Anyway, I just thought it was something interesting to throw out there as a possibility, something I noticed. So we'll see. Thank you for watching the video. And if you enjoyed this video, please check out my other theories on this channel, including my videos on how JFK was assassinated by Bigfoot and how the world is not round, but in fact perpendicular. And thanks again for watching.